founder of Mimosa Beauty. I've had Mimosa for over 7 years, and in the last 2 we have gone completely and utterly 100% eco as much as we possibly can. I'm a scuba diver and have been for over 18 years, which is where my passion for the environment and for the ocean comes from. I'm an eco-innovation activist, so I'm going to explain to you what that term means. And we run a 100% landfill-free beauty salon, which is why we are 100% eco from that aspect. This is a different clicker. I bought my own clicker and the clicker doesn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain why Mimosa's become landfill-free, the story behind it and how it really happened, and all the kind of touch points that made it happen. What being eco looks like at the salon, so the internals of what we've actually done within the building that makes it 100% landfill-free and eco. Then the numbers, so the business, because actually the thing you really need to know is how you're going to make this happen and how it's going to impact your business. And then simple steps that you can all do today, because the most important thing is that every single person on the planet does one tiny thing to save it, because at the moment we are destroying it. And then questions. So if everyone's got a piece of paper or their phones, if everyone wants to make notes, if they've got any questions, I have allocated time right at the end so we can all go through it at the end. So, I'm an ocean baby. I was brought up in the ocean. My mother is a scuba diver, which is why I've been doing it since the age of 10. And I was inherently brought up by the ocean. I had no choice. It was an infusion in my body and in my soul. And basically, plastic has always been there. What we forget, I don't know if this laser works, no it doesn't, that plastic teapot is probably somewhere up in my mum's attic. It's 22, 26 years old, and it's still here. And that's the problem right now, is that plastic has a longevity, it has a life cycle and a lifetime, and it's here for way longer than we are. This is my mum. This is just to show you kind of the infiltration that she's had on me. And now, for the last 18 years, this is what I do when I'm not running my salon. I spend my entire life in the ocean and campaigning to protect the creatures that live beneath the sea that no one else can see. So how did this happen? Why did it happen? And what did I hear that made me want to believe that this was the path that I wanted to take my company on? I went to a Virgin Disruptors event. So Virgin believed that you should be disrupting your industries. You shouldn't just be sitting and waiting for change to happen. You should be making the change before it happens to you. Brexit, perfect example. We all need to be planning, not waiting. And the thing about Cyril that he went through, so he has created a company called Parlay. And Parlay means the white flag to the ocean. So it means to start making changes that can make sure that our ocean supports us as human beings. Because without the ocean, we actually don't have a home. And when all of his talk, and I'll show some of the images from that later, he just emphasizes the stuff we don't see. Blue Planet has done an incredible job recently of actually showing what it's like beneath the sea. And it's now that people are really starting to take that on board. After Virgin Disruptors, I kind of went home and Cyril said on stage, we all need to be doing something. Everybody has a right to support this planet, and everybody needs to be doing one small thing. And if you're innovating within business, this is the step that we all need to be taking. And then just coincidentally, I went up to a TEDx talk in Findhorn, which is where my grandparents are, and Lisa did this talk about deep beauty. And it was a life cycle of beauty and how beauty can start from something horrible and generate into something stunning. She works in water waste. So her dad was a plumber, and so they spent all of their vacations going to water waste. So she saw that what plants can actually do to water is cleanse it and clean it. And beautiful, beautiful plants are the things that are growing where all the shit is coming out. And it's incredible. The stuff that she does and the work that she does in Asia and India is incredible. So she's completely regenerated waterways so that people can actually, and the communities can gather, they can make sure that their water is clean, and it's the hygiene that comes from that. It's all about being Lisa afterwards. So Lisa is an artist as well, and I had this eco-furniture idea that I wanted to throw past her because I needed someone to help me design it. And she turned around and said, well, I went into her hut and she's in her overall painting and paint splattered everywhere. And I went in there and said, look, I heard your talk yesterday and I get it. I want to run an eco project. Will you help me? And the first thing she said was, how are you going to fund it? Where's the money coming from? And I said, well, I've got a beauty salon. And she went, oh yeah, well, it doesn't work like that. She said, you can't just start something eco because you want to make up for the fact that what you're doing isn't. It's not tit for tat. You can't just start something to make up for what you're doing isn't. And so I said to her, it's physically impossible. Recycled towels are not sustainable. You're still having to put them in the bin. They're still having to be recycled. I've got towels in my salon that I've had for 7 years. That's where longevity versus recycled and eco-friendly comes in, and that's with the mindset and the shift that people need to start making. Because actually that's where you save money. If you're buying recycled towels for, I don't even know how much they are, £20 for 10, and you're going through them at the rate of knots because you're waxing like we are or massaging, think about the longevity, think about the sustainability, think about the washing versus anything else. It's all the tiny things that can make a massive difference here. And so I went away because I honestly didn't believe that it was possible. I honestly thought that our industry cannot be sustainable. We have too much reusable, well, single use, far too much single use, far too much plastic. No one's giving us our refillable stuff in bags, they're giving it all in plastic bottles. And it's all of those things that we need to be consciously making decisions as to how we purchase, where we invest our own money and our business's money to make sure that we're making a bit of an impact on the planet. So this took about 8 months. 6 to 8, I went home with my PA and went, okay, so we're getting a new salon. It's a 3-story, 5 treatment room, stunning building, and it's all going to be eco. It's going to be clean. The line for this building is clean. And it's all come from this. It's all come from Parley. So these are the images that Cyril showed us at Virgin Disruptors. This is a real-life picture of the amount of plastic that is on beaches on this planet Earth. It is horrific. And this is what they're doing to the animals. If anyone's watched Blue Planet, they will have seen all the albatross stuff. They will have seen everything that they're all vomiting. And it's affecting everything. From a scuba diver's point of view, just completely off topic, with all of this and with the plastic that's in animals and being ingested by animals like sharks, it's completely and utterly destroying the hierarchy. Sharks are being destroyed, overfinning, too much plastic, and then all of these other creatures that no one even knows about are coming up to the surface, and they're completely destroying the hierarchies because there isn't actually anything that eats them, like squid. Humboldt squid are now massive because nothing can eat them because they were being eaten by sharks that we're all killing. And what we forget is that every second breath comes from our ocean. We have a right as human beings, we're breathing the air that we're on. We have a right to protect it. And that's why Parley and Cyril came up with eco-innovation, to redesign with the planet at the forefront of your decision. To make a decision that isn't just about you as a person, it's about the planet and the things that you need to do to help protect it. To develop products and processes that contribute to sustainability. So finding simple things, really small ways. I don't know if anybody watched. I was given a bottle of water, I emptied it into my chili, and then I crunched up the bottle because I'm taking that plastic home. Because I know that my recycling is 100% landfill free. I don't even want to know how many plastic bottles there are in this building. Who's recycling? They're the kind of questions that we should all be asking. Where does all the plastic go? There's a hell of a lot of plastic here today. That's just a bit of a soapbox. It's just a thing. So, Parley introduced this process to reduce and replace, to retrieve and recycle, and to create new industry standards. So this is what we've done at Mimosa. We've replaced as much as we can, and we've reduced massively. We recycle 100% landfill free of everything. That includes our sticks that we wax with, it includes our cotton wool, our gloves, everything. You name it, in one piece of rubbish that goes into our bins, and we don't separate it. There's none of this different loads of bins. Everything goes into one bin bag, and it all gets manually separated. I'll go through it in a minute. And then and to try and create new industry standards, which is what I'm trying to do by being here. So this is Mimosa, and I'll just talk you through what we've done inside the building. So it was an office, it was a 3-story office, which we've now completely converted into a stunning, very proud of, beautiful, beautiful salon. And here are some of the things that we've done. So if you go back here, all this, you wouldn't even notice that they were things as a consumer. The fact that we've got triple glazing on the windows, so all of the windows are glazed. They've got a 4-centimetre barrier between the secondary glazing and the normal windows. It's that 4-centimetre barrier that you need for soundproofing to block out any sound, but it is also the insulation. That 4 centimetres is really, really important. We've then got eco-laminate flooring, LED lights. We'll go through everything we've got in it at the moment. But just to give you a concept that actually eco doesn't need to be horrible. It doesn't need to be cheap. It doesn't need to be recycled at every depth, because it doesn't need to look like that. Some of the things that we've done, we've got LED lights absolutely everywhere. We've got recycled carpet. So you can actually buy carpet that is 86% recycled. It's a nightmare to clean, but it's fine. And then the triple glazing, the air conditioning, so we don't run our central heating, we simply have air conditioning units. So I've got a unit in every single room, and over Christmas we have been running our units from December? Yeah, November, all the way through to the last couple of weeks, because we need to keep the building warm. And here is a list of everything we've done. So we've got coconut matting, so it's actually made out of coconut skins. That's as you walk in, it just looks like the Hessian that normal people have on their front mats. No one knows that it's eco. Eco paint covering every inch of the wall. So other than the feature wall colours, so I've got a dark purple feature wall in every room, bar one that I've got it on the ceiling. That's a Fired Earth colour, and Fired Earth actually gave me an eco statement to be able to use it. Because that's another thing that I do. Unless you have a statement to prove to me that you're eco, I'm not touching you. And then we got the other colour, which was a Fahrenball, just Fired Earth, just because it was such a huge building. We got it colour matched in an eco paint that was actually a lot cheaper to buy in the gallons. LED lighting, sustainable and local products. So we'll go into products later, but companies, I think Environ now, I'm just saying that in case he's around. Medicate, which is what we use. You actually just really need to ask your suppliers. OPI, I got an eco statement from OPI because I refused to bring them into the salon unless I could get some statement saying where they source all their products from and their labour as well. Because that's another thing. If you're dealing with products that are eco and vegan and veggie and everything else that they say they are, you want to know how they're getting them. You listen to the lady from Green and Blacks about all the fair trade, and the fair trade organisations actually monitor and manage how they are dealing with their employees and their workers. And it's all those things, it's finding out all the small little bits that you need to think about. Eco washing powder, Ecova is great, you can buy it in the gallons. We do wash at a higher wash, so we wash at about a 60-degree wash, and we put as many towels as we possibly can. I got one of the biggest washing machines you can get, purely because they need to be washed. The longer you keep those towels, the longer your longevity and your age of your products are. Recycled carpet, I've already said, all over the halls and landing. We switched out monthly magazines for a personal library. So instead of monthly magazines like Cosmo, Marie Claire and all that amazing stuff, we actually have books. So we have travel books, I've got personal development, Brené Brown, the Magic, Secret kind of stuff. There's something in there for everyone. I'm a complete hotel fiend, so I've got all the Mr. and Mrs. Smith ones as well. They're the kind of things that people can actually sit, especially recipe books. People can come and sit before their treatment and decide what they're going to cook for dinner at the end of the week. What are they going to do for their date night? And it's not looking at a magazine that's telling them they need to lose weight, or they need to think about the 5 top tips to have better sex, or whatever the hell they write in these magazines that isn't mentally conscious as well as physically conscious. We have a heated era, so one of those little ones from Lakeland that we chuck all the massive towels over and the mitts. It doesn't get them as nice and soft as a tumble dryer does, but we tend to chuck them in the tumble dryer at the end just to get that little nice, so they're not completely crunchy when you're sitting having a wax. Sustainable laminate on all the floors. It is not steam moppable. We have found out after steam hopping it, and it all lifts, which is great fun. But it is laminate that has been sustainably sourced and sustainably made. That was another thing. My builder hated me. I got a project manager to design the whole building with me, and everything I went to him with, I was like, yeah, well, is it eco? He was like, really? I was like, yeah. So unless you can tell me that it's eco, it's not coming in my building and I'm not spending the money. Everything I've done in this building is completely and utterly extreme. We are on the complete opposite spectrum of any normal human being, and I've spent an excessive amount of money. But it was something that I was personally prepared to do because it's something that I believe makes a difference. And that's just me. That's completely, this is why I'm giving you small things later on that you can do every day that can make it slightly more manageable for everybody. And then the soundproofing. So I cut out all the inside walls and soundproofed it all. I also soundproofed all of underneath all of the floors. The soundproofing is really important for me. I am a therapist. I am in treatment full-time on top of running my team and my building. And the one thing I hate is when I can hear other people. Really irritates me. It's the biggest thing I hate about spas, that, oh, how's your day been? And you hear it 15 times while you're having your facial, so you know exactly what the time is because you've just had 3 people walk past you, so it must be about 1:45. It really, really irritates me, and so I've also tried to design a building that has all the functional aspects to it rather than just something that is eco. It needs to be perfect. I don't know if I can go back really quickly. Okay, that one. There. So there are 3 lights along our couch, and we've got 6 spotlights. They're waxing lights. It means you have no shadows. You've got one over the face, one over the middle area, and one over the legs. So it means you have no shadows. It's simple design. Really, really, really simple. That makes a huge difference as a therapist. It was the first thing Laura said when she walked into the building. Oh my God, you've got waxing lights. Like, that's a great position for waxing. I'm like, it's because it's been designed by me. And then these are the numbers. So these are the really important bits. Our electricity cost is £100 a month. It has gone up to 200 for December only. And that's when the temperature dropped, and we've been running our air, that was before the AC got serviced. So we were running them at 27 degrees to get the whole building hot rather than 21 that we're currently on. And our gas bills are only £4.50. Running on electric is a lot cheaper than running on gas, period. The only thing we use gas for is the water, and it's on a combi boiler and it's on a meter, so we hardly use anything at all. Our shower is electric, but we don't do that many treatments. And then our monthly waste, so 83% of that physically gets recycled. And then this is just about our treatment rooms. So 5 rooms. The staff that I've currently got, we're all at 98.5% utilisation for 2 to 4 weeks. So these are figures that haven't come from a single person running a single building. This is an entire building that's running at this standard and running at that cost. It's a shame the council tax costs so much, because otherwise it'd be fine. I did have a meeting with the lady from the council who isn't prepared to reduce our council tax even though we're 100% sustainable, because supposedly my gas bills are enough to benefit the fact that I'm eco. That didn't go down very well at all. The 17% that's left of the 83, this is what happens to it. So it gets turned into refused derived fuel, which basically means anything that can't physically be recycled, like plastic or paper, basically our wax sticks. I think that's the only thing. I think it might be our wax, might be the only thing that we actually have to have done with this. It gets turned into pellets and mushed, so it goes from that into big things, into mushed things, and those pellets get burnt instead of fossil fuel. So it means that there are countries like Switzerland that are buying other people's landfill because they are so sustainable that they've run out of all their own rubbish. It's amazing what we can do if we actually have enough people doing it. And then this is the business side of it. So it costs £86 a month to be 100% landfill free. That's 2 intimate waxes, that's an hour. 3 gel manicures, which is what, an hour and a half if that's your timings. And then 2 hours in terms of facials, and that's our cheapest facial treatment that we do. So just to put it in perspective, 2 hours of your time pays for your recycling. I had one of my clients whose transaction was like £96. She went, oh, I've just paid for your monthly recycling fee. How cool is that? It's those things, it's the give back. It's the fact that one of the innovations that we've done is that if people bring their products back to us, we give them 5% off their next product purchase, because I know that that product is going to be 100% landfill-free recycled. I tend to take the boxes off people as well. Like they come in, they get the box, and they're like, I'm like, I'll put that in our bin if you want. Because I know that the council don't recycle to the level that they should. It's the biggest problem that people aren't really aware of. If the council were doing their job, we wouldn't have landfill. Period. And that's why it's important. Because 8 million tons of plastic is still ending up in the ocean every single year. I was in the Maldives at Christmas, and I'm driving out of the bay, and there is still plastic bottles as you're driving out. It's horrific. I bought so much plastic home because every time I was underwater and I found something, it went straight into my suitcase. I just brought it home. But how many people are doing that? How many people, when you find a crisp packet or a piece of plastic this morning in Costa, and I pick it up and I put it away? Because I know at least if I'm doing it, it's going somewhere that I know where it's going. And it's about the simple things that you can swap out. This is a 16p difference in cotton buds. Hopefully that's blurry enough that you don't know what the company is. It's making decisions like that in purchase. 16p. What can that buy you? Can that buy you anything? I don't know.
Sorry?
Yes, if you're buying 100 of it, it makes a bit of a difference if you're buying stuff in that kind of bulk. But actually, it's those kind of compromises to make sure it doesn't happen like this. All of these blurry bits in the background of this photograph are plastic bags in Asia. It's not fuzz, it's plastic. Stuff like using glass Dappen dishes instead of plastic shot glasses. I've been on a couple of skincare trainings where they've said to use shot glasses for their peel and then just bin it. Well, it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary use of plastic. We were in, is it Giraffe? Because I got this wrong last time. It was Giraffe before Pro Beauty in Manchester, and they gave me seeds in a plastic shot glass, and I said, oh, I won't have that. Can you put it back? And she went, oh no, it's been on the table now. It has to go straight in the bin. It's just when you actually become conscious to the amount of plastic that we're using, it just opens your eyes a little bit to what the things that you can change, the things that you can make a tiny difference yourself. I don't like this clicker. This image caused a lot of hell for me online, as people can probably imagine, because if you do the Where's Molly of Where's the Plastic, you find the plastic cup. What no one noticed, and what does that post-it note say? God. Pay HMRC. The plastic cup I reused 4 times. I sat there for an hour and a half and I did my talk and I was writing all my slides, and I reused that 4 times. I then got them to rinse it out and I brought it home. But publishing a picture like this, where I wasn't conscious of the fact that it had a plastic cup in it, and the fact that it's extremely hypocritical and controversial that I've got 8 million tons of plastic ends up in the ocean every year, it's just me not really thinking. But at the same time, it's about having those conversations with people. They didn't discount me for the fact that I reused my cup again. The 3 people behind me did exactly the same, because we were all sitting in a workspace at Joe and the Jeeps, and we were all going multiple times and having multiple smoothies. And yet, you just have one person say that, oh, can you just rinse that out and reuse it? I don't want any money off, it's not for personal gain. And that's the other thing, I was trying to get stats, so we've just done a type form with all our clients. But a lot of the PR stuff that I get about being eco-friendly, everyone says to me, how many clients have you got because you're eco? What personal gain, what monetary gain have you got by being eco? I don't know the answer to that question, because that isn't why I've done this. I haven't done it because I want people to come to us to give me more money because I'm sustainable. It's a byproduct. It's a complete byproduct, and it's something that I passionately believe in, and that people just happen to know about. Some of the responses we were getting, they didn't even know we were eco. I'm doing a really bad job at advertising. But for me, it's all about longevity. Longevity means the long age of a product. Again, like the towels. Like, I've only just started replacing China, like we've got China cups that don't need to, like, unless they get smashed because someone's a muppet. You keep them for years. Someone came into the salon the other day and said, "Oh, have you got water? Have you got a water butt?" I went, "We're an eco salon." She went, "Yeah." I went, "Have you got any idea how much plastic that is? I've got a perfectly usable tap." We live in a country, we're extremely privileged to live in a country and on a continent that actually has drinkable tap water. You go to Africa and you spend a week around watching these children having to sift water through a pair of tights that they found to try and get an attempt at clean water. So they might not get a worm in their water, but they're definitely going to get polio, whatever the hell, typhoid, whatever they get from water. Typhoid's not water. Typhoid is water. I don't know. I will check that. And then there are other things that you can do. So these are the things that you can do in salon yourself, that you can just take a little bit away, that you can start making a change. You can also run these through the accounts. That's why I've got so many, because I can use my business money on my library. It's amazing. My dad walked in a couple of weeks ago and went, "Well, that's where all the money's going." Got his entire library of books. But it's the kind of thing that actually clients don't even notice that they're amazing until they sit down. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'll pick up a book." We have one guy who went home to his wife and said, I really love going there because the treatments are amazing, but I really love the library." And I said to her, I was like, "Well, you can tell him he can come in for a cup of tea and just sit and enjoy the library." She's like, "Oh no, I won't tell him that because I'll never leave." And there is, for me, it's about picking what books you want to pick. We've got recipe books, but we've also got the other stuff that actually just stimulates people's minds a little bit. It's all about conscious communication. We're all therapists, we're all in this industry. And actually, if someone sits and I find it really fascinating what books people pick up. But actually, if someone picks up, say, like The Art of Happiness from the Dalai Lama, if you know a little bit about that book, you can then have a conversation about it. Why did you pick that up? What is it? What page did you land on? We play a game in salon with some of the poetry books of a number game. So if you pick a number and see what the book comes out at, and actually people walk in as we're doing it and they're like, "Oh, I want a number." And it's just about having that kind of relationship, that kind of bond with your clients to make sure that you can actually have conversations that aren't just about the weather and about where they're going on holiday. It's about having a little bit more substance and fibre to who you are as therapists. Reusable water bottles. This was in the Red Sea. This one comes everywhere with me. I've got a different one because I told my whole team when we went to Dublin that everyone needed to pack their bottle because we are an eco salon, and what one forgot the bottle? It was me. It was sitting on the side when I got home. So I bought that at the airport to make sure that we all had one. I actually buy a bottle for every single one of my team as part of their welcome pack. One of the things people ask me is, how eco are your staff? Is it a hiring thing that I look at? And it is, and it's not, because I do it for them. They don't have to think at all. They get given a bottle, they put their rubbish in the same bin that they would normally, and they don't even have to use their brains. And yet they're being sustainable and they're being eco-friendly, and it's given to them all. It embeds in them a little bit more once they've been around me a little bit longer, so they don't come in with plastic bottles, otherwise I roll a little bit. But they've all got the ones that I give them, so there's no reason to. I don't like this clicker. Laminate.
That's natural.
Okay, so there was a Facebook Live I listened to a couple of weeks ago that I really wanted to get on a soapbox about and didn't have the opportunity to, so now is my chance. Laminating is a fantastic way to print off diaries and calendars and offers and everything that you can reuse for the next 3 years. Because actually, used between January and March, we've done this offer for 4 years now, and all I do is with a permanent marker, I write with Laura, or with Amy, or with Hannah, or with Lucy at the bottom of it to be trading standard compliant, and then I rub it off with nail varnish remover, and they go back in the folder and back in the box. What I hate is when I hear people, "Oh yeah, print off my planner," and just print and print and print, because then you've got a couple of copies like every month. I'm like, why can't you just print off one copy, laminate it, write on it, and then clean it off, and after you've taken a photograph of it. We have our whole holiday holiday planners for all of us. I've got printed 2019. I've laminated it, and then I've written on whose holidays where, what's doing what, when the VAT comes out, when payday is, because then you've got it, and you've got a whole year's worth, and then you can actually go back and put it in a file, and then when they say, oh, I didn't take enough holiday last, you go, oh, actually, here you go. It's not on some piece of paper that can be lost, it's on a laminated piece of paper, which has a longevity. LED lighting, we can all buy LEDs, they're a lot cheaper now, and you actually get the converter changes from IKEA and stuff if you've got a different kind of code. And then toilet roll. This is a new one for us. They've been stalking me on Instagram because they keep getting their ads. So they obviously know that we are eco. But actually, I don't even know how much it was. I think it was £40 for 52 rolls of toilet roll, which actually on the grand scheme of things, it's actually cheaper than buying it, or if you're doing it wholesale. And it comes really pretty that you can stack. I'm not sponsored by any of these people, by the way, it's just purely stuff that I've done. And then the final one really is retail. And consciously deciding where you're going to put your money. The oils that we've got are a company down in Devon, they're all handmade, it's Lola's Apothecary, and I found them completely by accident. I was looking for a company that was local, that was British, that was everything else under the sun that could be as eco-friendly and sustainable as possible. And then we use, I'm a skin specialist by trade, so I use Priori, Medicate and Batage. And Medicate have rebranded in the last year to be as sustainable as possible. They've removed all of their plastic out of all their packaging. They have their own innovatives with clean oceans and saving forests. And the most amazing thing for me is that I get results like this in 3 weeks. So the reason I've put these two, there's another image, the reason I've put these two in is because the thing that I was struggling with doing this talk, and the thing that was stressing me out, was that it's amazing that we're eco, but that's not what I do. What I do is this, inside my eco bubble. I live and I work and I breathe skin. And yet, people want to know about the eco aspect, and I just think, well, it's my ship. It's the thing I sit in to do my job, and so why is it so amazing? And I do talks like this, and I bullet point it all out, and once you start digging into it, you find out that actually there is quite a lot of stuff you can do. But the crux of it is that actually, we're all doing our jobs. And we're all trying to make a difference to the people that we're touching, and that we're seeing, and that we're spending time with. And yet, why not do it in somewhere that is actually being beautiful and helping the planet at the same time? This is one of the ladies that I did for her wedding. The one before, I haven't actually touched him in treatment, it was purely just product. That image is him on Roaccutane. He stopped taking the Roaccutane, and I know they tell you not to do it, but I gave him products, and that was it 3 weeks later. It's incredible what you can do if you build the rapport and you educate people enough as well, that actually men are a lot easier, just from a skin geeky point of view. Men are way easier, and men that are younger are even better, because they haven't started drinking, they haven't started going out, they haven't started stop sleeping, and their hormones are just, you just need to ambush it. Rather than women who their hormones are completely and utterly up the creek, they're on the pill, they're doing everything else, they're stressed, they've got anxiety, there's so much more to skin than just what are you putting on your face. But if you can do that in an environment that actually is helping the planet, it's even better. I love this, it's amazing. I don't even know what. Okay, final one. If not me, then who? And if not now, then when? I don't know if anyone's seen her speech from the UN. Hands up, anyone seen it? Okay, it is worth a watch. It is mind-blowingly moving, and her thing is more for he for she campaign, so about feminism and about women having equal rights to men, and that men need to respect women as much as that, and they need to be campaigning for it too. But it was these words that really got to me, because if it's not me, then who else is going to do it? And if I'm not talking about it and I'm not educating people about it, how are more people not going to know about it? It's every single small change that you can make. It's every single person that hears something that actually makes a change to the entire planet. So, has anyone got any questions?
mentioned wax sticks.
We don't separate it. So the question was, how do we separate all of our rubbish? We don't. The company do that. So that's what the £86 pays for. It pays for them to literally manually chuck it all into a carton and they hand sift the entire thing.
You mentioned which companies do you use?
Green Recycling. They're an Essex-based company, but I'm pretty sure that there are more companies around everywhere that should be doing it. And if they're not, then we need to all be doing it.
Would you be able to maybe advise from London by any chance? Or...
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Would you be able to advise any companies or any such companies in London? Or...
I don't know, because I'm Essex. I don't know if they cover London.
Whereabouts in Essex?
Chelmsford.
Southend.
Oh. Well, they cover Southend, so you're fine. I can look into it. They might even have an affiliate that they work with. Did you have a question?
It's just kind of a context like, what did you like Google search to find?
Can you hold it a little bit closer so I can?
Sorry, what did you Google search to find?
I need Rachel. That was my PA's job. It was find me a recycling company. I think we just Googled landfill-free recycling. I think it was as simple as that. I don't know. I didn't do the back end. So this all happened. The building was a bit of a nightmare because we had to basically purchase it and then get change of use to change it from an office. And so we had like 8 months or 6 months to find everything. And I was in treatment 9 till 9, paying for the excessive amount that we were just about to pay out. So I was literally in my room touching people from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, trying to earn enough money to help cover some of this. So I don't know the answer to that question, I'm afraid, but I will look into it.
And also, with your towels, what materials are you?
Just normal towels. They're from BC. I keep looking at her because she knows more stuff than I do sometimes. Yeah, BC software, and they're 100% cotton. Ideally, I'd move to bamboo, but it's not as easy as that. Anyone else? Did you have a question? Oh. You better be nice. He's my friend.
I was going to be nice. Yeah, I was just going to say, what was the single hardest change you had to make in terms of being eco-friendly, either in terms of products or physical changes that you had to make to your salon?
Physical change, we had to rip out the entire building. Literally, I ripped the entire thing out. All the floors, everything, all the walls. You name it, I touched it. The hardest thing to convert to, I think just like the mindset shift, I think. What would you say? You just have to change how you think. And I think for me the hardest thing is telling people about it. Because I've done it all and I spent a lot of money. And yet not that many people know about it. And that's the hard thing. It's the hard thing when I see what we're doing to the planet and I'm fighting so hard to make sure that I can make it a better place.
Actually, I have one more question.
Come on, because we've got other people.
Okay. If you could make one change in every salon in the country to make it more eco-friendly, what would that one change be?
100% landfill-free recycling. Literally universal. I'd actually buy a company to make sure that I could do it. It was one of the things on my list. And put aircon units in everywhere. I don't understand why no one's got aircon units. It's completely
Well, that's
insane.
my question. Aircon units. I've just had a quote with moving premises to a new salon to have an aircon system put in, and it is
extortionate.
But you said you've got a unit in each room.
Yeah.
You've got individual units.
Yeah.
You haven't got an actual system.
No.
Right. So that's.
They're £1,500 per unit.
Right. Is it noisy though?
No, you wouldn't even know it existed.
So all the ones I've been in and you've seen are really noisy.
No, you wouldn't even know they're there. It is if you go from a massage at 26 degrees to an intimate wax at 19 degrees and it goes.
Right.
But that's about it. It's that fast, it's that quick, and then all of a sudden it's like gushing cold air up someone's legs.
So have you got those in like your waiting area and everything as well?
No, that's the one error. It's the one error I made, because that's where we hit budget. So we hit budget, and it was like, okay, well, where are we gonna try and scrimp some money? And it was, okay, well, let's not put one in the massive reception area, which has been an epic fail.
Okay, so what did you eat there?
By leaving my treatment room open and on overnight, and we have a little Dyson that's on 24/7.
What Dyson?
Yeah, it's amazing. But then I have people go, "Oh, is your heater not working?" I'm like, "No, I just made an error, actually." And it's the one window I didn't insulate either. So stupid. All overall, it was stupid. But the thing about individual units from aircon is that if you're using a big unit and a big system that you're infiltrating throughout your entire building, one, they're a lot harder to break down. Alex's mum had it, where they had to leave their salon and leave the premises, and they had to take everything out, which meant they took the aircon systems out as well, because I remember it was awful. Whereas if you're individual units, it's a lot more saleable from a different point of view. The units go outside. So the outside fans, which are the noisy bit that I wouldn't even know about because I don't go anywhere near them, are outside, and we've got 5. Because the other thing, I got a cheaper quote. I'm just going to move it off that one as well. I had a cheaper quote that meant that we had one outside unit for each side of the building. But it meant that whatever room you were in, you both had to be doing the same. So I couldn't have one therapist at 19 degrees doing a wax and one therapist doing a massage at 24. And that was where the cost came in, was that every unit had to be separate. But we run it, the max our bills have got to from electricity is £250. And that was literally from November to December. We were working 9 till 9. It was on for 24 hours a day for 7 weeks. So that's the max we've got to when the bills come in. They tried to charge me for the gas because they did an estimate, and they charged me like £121. And I rang them up. They're like, "Oh, we'll come and do it. We'll come and do a reading, but like that's how much it should be." I was like, "No, it's not." And they came in. They were like, "Oh, sorry, we've overcharged you. You don't need to pay anything for the next year." Like, well. Yeah, but it's not very much. I think the max our bills have got to is about £5, I think. Sorry, gives you lots to think about.
Yeah, just a quick question. When did you open your salon?
I opened the original salon in January 2012, and we opened this Eco Innovation Salon in March 2017.
That's fine. Is it possible for us to have a look?
Yeah, of course.
What did you use for your soundproofing, and was it effective?
It was some eco filling. That was as in-depth that I got with the techie side of the soundproofing. I got quoted soundproofing for 17,000. That's the kind of thing that costs a lot of money. Which is why we cut. In an ideal world, I would have put that egg foam on the inside of all of my walls if I was going to get really anal, which is where I was going to go, because I hate sound that much. It is effective if you haven't been in it for 2 years, so I can hear everything, but I have sonar hearing, and I can tell how many steps it takes for someone to walk through my front door to then sit down, and if they're stopping at my reception, I can hear them move. But I think that's because I'm so inherently in the building that I can hear when the water's on, which no one else can hear. I can hear when the toilet's flushing, but that's just my hearing. I think from other people that no one even, like, I've had days where everyone's like, "Oh, is anyone else here?" I'm like, yeah, they're all here. There are 5 of us in my building, and no one knows because I'm on the ground floor, so I make sure that I'm at access so that I have, if anybody needs me, they can get me. But anywhere else, if you're up on the top floor, you can't hear anything. You can't even hear outside. You can just about hear the birds through the soundproofing, through the windows. Just if you listen really, really hard. Like, we're on a main road, and the only thing you can hear is an ambulance, or if some wacko revs really hard outside the window. I think that was. Did you have another question? No? Anybody else? You've got me for like 5 more minutes.
Do you know when you're doing facial, do you use mix, or do you use
Mix.
sponges? And then is it kind of.
And then they get washed. Yeah, we wash them. We wash our mitts at 90 degrees, and we put the Dettol stuff in just to make sure it's clean. It's simple. The other thing about being eco is you have to find your compromises. So are you going to compromise by using sponges and your treatment's not being that great? No offense to anyone using sponges. Or which actually aren't that hygienic, to be completely fair, because they hold mold and they go all icky and nasty unless they're dried out right, and they feel horrible. But you have to make that compromise. Are you going to put a little bit of Dettol in your water and your washing powder, or are you going to put more cotton wool in your bin? We've had our mitts. I've got some mitts that I think I might have taken from Virgin over 9 years ago, and I still use them in my salon because I couldn't find them anywhere until I found a company that did knits. So I have these like H2O flannel ones that they might have come home in my bag, but it's so long ago now. It's fine. Anybody else?
Just as a suggestion, would you be willing to make a small list of your favorite products that you keep reusing in your salon as a guide for other salons, beauty businesses, beauty individuals to buy and use? Because that would be great, because I feel like when it comes to, scaling your business and others, it's where
everyone needs to find the information.
Yeah.
I have a personal company, which is the Lawson Element. It's my surname, Lawson, and then Element like water. If it's going to be anywhere, it will be there. It won't be on Mimosa, just because I try and keep all of that stuff separate. So I will, if you follow Mimosa personally or me personally on Instagram, that's kind of where it all goes, and it will feed out into other people, into other platforms. I try and keep it all kind of. My personal Instagram is Jennie, Jennie, no Y, L106 to be super original, so no one forgets my birthday.
Do you also kind of keep to that eco lifestyle in your personal life?
I bring all my rubbish into work, so it all goes in the same bin at home, which is really funny when you start dating. They're like, oh, you're an eco person, where's my bins? I'm like, oh no, just chuck it all in the same bin. They're like, but yeah, just put it all in the bin, it all goes into work, it all comes with me. There are some things that I'm not as eco with at home, if I'm being completely honest, like my smoothies in the morning in a plastic